I'll ask the same question for you, Daniel. What was kind of your big inspiration for your film, and what kind of challenges were you had while you were making it?
Sure. So, definitely my inspiration writing and directing this film was my experiences with relationships is what this movie is based off of, which is, these characters, they fall in love at, that young adult age of like, 18 to like early 20s in college. But, that's such a peculiar time for a lot of people because everyone, has their own paths. Everyone's trying to figure themselves out. Nick's character, Desmond, has his own stability, has his own, plan already figured out. But on the other hand, Stephanie's character, Jessica, she is a, inspiring musician, independent, just wants to get out of here as soon as possible, but they can't ignore that kind of connection, that kind of love, that is so I think prominent and so like impactful when you enter the real world. And I wanted to make a commentary on, if going into a relationship it might fail, would you still want to experience the love anyway, and see exactly, what do you do, do you follow them, do you let go, do you, what do you do exactly, so it's not so black and white in a situation like that. Really, the challenges that we faced were, getting the right casting, as well as getting that spark of personality between so peculiar personalities that I'm familiar with, other than the basic logistical filmmaking practices.
Daniel, two things. One, I just want to say I really love When She Flies because I really identify a lot with Desmond as a character, and for me personally, I'm like, to give you some too much information, I'm a very reckless lover. Like I'm the kind of person I was like, yeah, Desmond, just go with it, bud. Just do it. Just do it. Just hold on to it, and then but then when the big conflict starts to happen, when their big argument, when Jess has to leave, I'm just like, no, Desmond, now is the time where you have to let it go. You had the fun. You knew what this was. I was with Desmond, and then when we got to that point, I was the opposite of him. So I stopped relating to him, and it was this very relatable thing for me, and I really liked that. What I want to ask you about is, you mentioned the casting. During the casting, what's interesting is we're starting to have a lot more diversity in film in general. Was it your intention to have a mixed race couple presented on screen, or did it just happen that way because you had screened different people together and these were the two that connected?
Yeah, so thank you for the kind words. You know what? It's interesting. Going into it, I did have particular looks in mind. When we did the casting process and we saw these amazing people auditioning for it, Stephanie and Nicholas, it really sparked my interest because they they transcended what a director might have in mind. You know what I mean? So sometimes directors might want to like self self-impose, or like insert self-insert, as I think the term is. But I was really going open-minded into the auditions, thinking anyone can really play this. It doesn't matter who they are. And I thought, especially Stephanie, she did such a phenomenal job in the casting. It's funny, she's a musician herself. What was cool was that she brought her own guitar to the audition. So like, not only did she just like catch that personality of independentness and wanting to make an impact, but she was like, I can also play a song for you and sing. I'm like, perfect. So I thought, like, you got it 100%. And then with Nick, the most innocent like person coming in, like you couldn't tell he was acting. That was just him straight up. When you talk to him, he's just like, oh, hello. And so it was really fun to just see them both audition. On top of diverse casting, I thought this is a great opportunity as well, to really show representation.
Was also something I thought about watching Nick's performance as Desmond too, is he's this sweet and innocent person. And you kind of then start to get the feeling that he's going to not be so sweet and innocent when the conflict starts to really boil over. And then again, then that happens, and you get that very emotional reaction towards it. And it was really really great. Start to wrap it up a little bit. Daniel, I'll stick with you because I want to ask one last question for everybody, and I'll start with you. Is what's lesson that you learned from making your movie?
Ooh, that's a good question. Biggest lesson was to not stick so hard to what you want to create. Like, be open-minded and don't be so married to the script. When I showed other people the script, and they gave me feedback, And so I was just like, this can really be another step of pulling on the heartstrings of everyone in the audience. You know, I liked seeing, people getting their heartstrings pulled, and relating as well. So as I was in the filmmaking process, pre-production and production, it was, and post-production as well, you know, changing some things. It doesn't have to be so exact, you know, let's play around with it. And so I think it really pulled off in the end.
You know, and that's been something we've heard from a lot of filmmakers talking about adaptability and open-mindedness and not being afraid to either shake it up or noticing how things just weren't working and having to make a change. So that's a very good lesson.